Okay. Hi everyone. Please let me know if I'm live. Hello. Good to see you all. Let me know if the sound is okay, if the video is running, if I'm here with you. And I'm so excited. As usual, something always happens. I come across some people, some places, locations and stories that absolutely change my tours. Well, it's not like I have to flip the script completely, but I like to play it by ear anyway. So I've been hearing for a long time from a lot of my colleagues, from local guides, that there is one really gorgeous place in Batumi. And here I am. And you know what? Tonight, well, my local time is 7 p.m. I was supposed to take you to the boulevard because we actually never got to walk almost the entire boulevard, only just some sections of it. And this very place where I am now happens to be just by the boulevard and by the sea. So I think it's a win-win. And I've been here for about an hour and a half. I did some work. Grisha is with my parents, having fun. Misha is doing something else. And well, I just had some work time, quality work time finally. And well, I've been given permission to start my live stream here in this gorgeous place. Let me share with you the name of the place, Fan Fan. And I would say it's Fan Fan, but it's also fun because have a look. How could I possibly miss such a place? Hi, Misha. Misha is watching me, which is great because last night we were here. We kind of had a little celebration of our wedding anniversary, which was like 2 days ago on the 16th, but it's been so hectic here. So we just had a little time for ourselves on the last night. And also I got to film some other locations for my pre-recorded tour, which I will be announcing shortly, because there are a lot of locations in Batumi that I can't actually take you on a live walking tour, and they also work at different hours and they are sporadically located around the city, so there's not really much I can do within just like this very limited time of 1 hour live walk. So I will be doing something extra, but since I've been given permission to take you around the place, I want to show you a few things. Plus, looks like I am the only one here, which means I can show you a little bit more. And I would like to also tell you a little story about this place. Look at all this. Look at all this gorgeousness here. We are in the 19th century, maybe early 20th century mansion that belonged to an aristocratic family, Nakashidze. I mean, you absolutely have to look at this.
It's not allowed to.
I just asked a question from your colleague.
My
Yes.
manager just called me and told me sorry. I guess they didn't know. I'm so sorry.
Okay, well, looks like they have a little conflicting information and they're not letting me live stream from here, but we have everything recorded anyway, which means I will show you a lot more when I take you on a pre-recorded tour. But in the meantime, as I'm packing up, I will take you to, I'll take you outside. And looks like we might even have some sunset. Oh, don't worry, I have everything recorded. So I will schedule this tour and we will see everything in full detail, but I think they really have some conflicting information in the staff. But anyway, this is the house, and this is kind of a famous balcony of a famous house because this mansion belonged to, as I said, Nakashidze family, and it's the aristocratic family. In particular, one of the persons who lived here was Count Nakashidze, or Duke, sorry, Duke Nakashidze. And he, at some point, started producing tea, growing tea, and supplying it throughout the Russian Empire, which, as you probably remember, Georgia and Ajaria also was part of. Well, Ajaria, compared to, let's say, eastern part of Georgia, only joined to the Russian Empire in the 1870s. But hi everyone, good to have you. So this house is believed to have been one of the so-called hot spots meaning that there a lot of aristocrats used to gather here, a lot of bright minds of Ajaria region, of Batumi. You may remember some names such as Ilya Chavchavadze. You remember the great social activist, philanthropist, aristocrat and thinker. So he used to be a frequent guest in Batumi, and well, I'm glad that he didn't see that. Batumi is a city of contrast and also very quickly, I would say, frantically developing corner of the world. And it's also a very profitable real estate market. Not that I am promoting anyone or anything, but since we are in I would say one of the most popular and touristy areas, this is one of the most up and coming and most likely yield-wise going to be a nice investment. And as far as I understand, they're almost done, and you can already purchase something from here, but I'm not here for this. Since this is the street full of beautiful mansions, I would like to also draw your attention to this house. It's still undergoing renovation or restoration, I'm not really sure. But what I have been able to find, and I'm going to need just a little bit of the info, a minute, yeah, maybe just a little time. It's the Selitrenikov house. Selitrenikov was a name. It's the last name of a member of the city Duma, well, a parliament. And what I love is that here we get to see teeny tiny trees, which are now gigantic. Not all of them are here, I suppose, but at least some. We don't get to see the house in full splendor yet, but looks like it's just only a matter of time, and I don't know what's going to be housed here. But, so what we are doing now, we are going to explore the promenade a little bit, and just like as we're doing now, we will be exploring a little bit of the buildings around it. And well, the timing, I know that I must be overlapping with some other guides, but well, then it's not really my regular timing, not my regular day, but I'm really desperate to catch up with a little bit of sun, because we didn't get to see much of it. And last time, instead of the sunset tour, we had something like a very, very stormy 10 minutes. And after that, pouring rain started, and I got completely wet, like absolutely. I wish I could just, dry myself on the radiator, but there are no radiators here at the moment. So, and look, we're approaching something very green. On the one hand, hi everyone, hi Ronnie, good to see you. And look at the colors, look at the sky. So I'm really hopeful, and we're going to be cruising between the promenade and between the
the seaside, just catching up with both. And all of a sudden, well, we know that we are in Batumi, in the Caucasus, in the Ajara region, just by the Black Sea. And all of a sudden, we see this, the Japanese garden. I'm not a specialist in gardening, in landscape design, so I'm not going to be going into too many details regarding the philosophy and the meaningfulness of this place. And not that I'm going to explore it just at the moment, because before we dive into the beauties of the Japanese garden, I wanted to show you a few more things that we have here. So again, just a few tidbits from history. Well, for those who let's say don't remember much of my previous tours, or well, tend to forget some details, just to help you connect the dots. Imagine that all of this did not exist, well, even 150 years ago. Everything started after Ajara was returned to Georgia from the Ottomans. The Ottomans controlled this place, controlled this region for about 300 years prior to that. And when Georgia won back these territories together with the Russian Empire, so it was the Russian Empire, eventually things started to change almost overnight. Within less than a decade, Batumi became a big port city. The port was given the status of a port of Franco, which means a duty-free port. And this is how within just another decade, the city started growing, and from a small village, mostly made up of fishermen and some makeshift buildings and a couple of mosques, eventually it became the city, the big city. And we are now standing by the building. Yes, I'm just about to talk about it. We're standing by the building, which I think was one of those absolutely crucial steps when Batumi switched from a small port town into actually a city. We're standing by the building of the former boys' school or boys' lyceum, and now it's the University of Shota Rustaveli University of Batumi, which is the biggest educational facility of the region. It's not like the school was built just like this 130 years ago. Obviously not. I would like to show you a couple of photographs. Just give me a second to find them. You will see that originally it looked a little different. There you go. Oh, I'm standing at a different angle, but I think you can just figure out that it used to have less floors, only 2. Right, and it used to have a different decoration on the top, but it was extended. But I love the way it looks. It's still, the building has preserved its, I would say, authentic look in many ways. The building over there, well, let's say at least a little bit of it. So the vibe, the historic vibe is still here of a really some highbrow facility. And over there, another highbrow facility. I will zoom it in. And hopefully you can hear also a little bit of the water. That's why I'm not stepping away too much from the fountain, but I hope it doesn't interfere. This is the building that was constructed a little bit after the school was built and opened up. That's, for a long time, this building served as a library to the school and then the university. Small one, looks like just some aristocratic estate. And a little bit of the water. I hope you can hear the water, but I think also that my microphone could have been a little bit muffled. Sorry for that. You can hear that. That's great. I was worried probably could not. I also like the topping. Well, this is the top of the fountain is new. The fountain itself is new. However, as we explore the promenade, we're going to see a lot more fountains and interesting sculptures and things like that. There is an interesting story, which, well, imagine again the highbrow educational facility for boys, and right now next to this originally 19th century building, we have this some more high-rise buildings and 2 hotels. And again, if you want to buy some real estate, if you just happen to have a little bit extra cash or equities or not, so be my guest. Yeah, Marriott, Hilton. Okay, yeah, once again, we are reminded that we are in a resort city. But back in the days, 1900s, on this very spot used to stand a very different building. Like craziest ideas, please feel free to share the craziest thoughts, the craziest things you have in mind. What kind of building could have been placed right next to the school? It was the worst idea ever. Like, these two never really meant to be together, but for some reason that's exactly how things were. Let me know in the chat what you think. Helen, wow, that's true. These two usually don't go together. Okay, that's interesting. Any other ideas? In the meantime, I really like this contrast between the university building or the boys' school building and also the high-rise buildings behind it. Actually, Helen, you were right. There was a prison. I have only just one photo. That's the side wing of the school building, and right behind it, prison. That's the only photo of the prison that, yikes, exactly. How is this even possible? And that was not a, let's say, prison, I don't know, it was like criminals, felons, criminals, murderers, that just, were there. However, I need a minute. There was one more photograph that I have been able to find. These photos are available from the archives, just several websites that are full of photographs of historic Batumi, because, yeah, so this is one of the cells of the prisons. So the prison was located just here. The photograph was taken somewhere that side, I would say, just something like that. And as I'm walking towards that interesting structure over there, I'm going to share the story. Very weird construction over there, yes. And also, just probably as a weird story that I'm going to share. So imagine just having a prison building next to a school is already a nonsense. But there's more to it. One of the prisoners there in the 1900s, early 1900s, was Joseph Jugashvili. And Joseph Jugashvili later on would be known as Joseph Stalin. Stalin was his, obviously, pseudonym, and his real name was Jugashvili. Together with you, we explored his house, well, the house where he was born in the town of Gori. But as he was a young man, he worked at multiple factories, oil facilities here in Batumi, such as, for example, the Rothschild oil refinery. And he secretly tried to set the workers of the Rothschild factory against the Rothschild, and he was the mastermind behind several big mutinies. He was caught and placed in that prison somewhere there. Fun, right? So when we have the photograph of one of the cells, allegedly the cell where Joseph Stalin was kept. And another interesting construction over here is this one. It feels like SpongeBob was just about to pop up, or I don't know, wave at us from around the corner. And this is when it finally gets to you. Oh yes, I am by the sea. Look at this incredible kingdom of mosaic. Isn't it crazy? Look at that. It is cool. And you know what? It's from the Soviet times, recently restored. And it opened in 1975 or around that. And it was a cafe. Cafe fantasy. Fantasia, fantasy. I don't want to film people, but I'll just come over here so you could see what's going on. Look at that. Absolutely unique. Such vibrance of colors. I lost count to how many sea creatures we've got here. A seahorse, a starfish. So Patrick is somewhere here as well. He must be somewhere here. Squidward. Everyone. Where's Mr. Krabs? I think I'm needing my Krabs burger. Honestly, look at that. Look at these dolphins. It's amazing. So I think fantasy is the best name that fits clearly. And you know what? About 15 years ago, we could have lost this building. But the locals protested against the project of the municipality to take down the building, because this cafe Fantasia became a sort of a symbol of Batumi. This is the photograph taken in the, I would say, late Soviet period, maybe 80s, maybe early 90s. I'm not 100% sure. I don't want to be filming kids, and yeah, okay, just a second. I think I have just one more picture of it. I think this is now one of my most favorite buildings in in Batumi. Yeah, okay. This one, for example, is also because a lot of visitors, a lot of travelers remembered Batumi just thanks to this cafe. This is, for example, a snapshot from a popular Soviet movie. So I won't be filming children, so I'll be zooming in so we could just have a little closer look at all these sea creatures over here. So the architect, the designers who were in charge of the project was given the carte blanche. Well, apparently, because they were able to exert their imagination. Oh, this one is just crazy over here. Again, I'm zooming in, so not to film kids, but I just want for you to see this. And maybe just a little bit of that starfish over there before kids come up. Look at that. Isn't it crazy? Unfortunately, the cafe is now under restoration. I'm not even sure it's going to reopen. But you know what? I'm really drawn to that side because I see the sun. I haven't seen much of it over the past 5 or 6 days. It's not like I'm complaining. We've actually had a nice weather, not too hot, a little bit of rain, and quite comfortable, gloomy but comfortable. Apart from just that very moment when I found myself in the deserted beach, just all by myself, facing the elements. Hi Quinn, good to see you. Hi everyone. So you see, I think it was a good idea by just to schedule this tour at this particular hour. Since I don't know what to expect next, I don't know if the sun comes up again, or some clouds will obscure everything in like 30 minutes. So yeah. Hi Natalie, good to see you, dear. So you see, we are lucky now because we get to see some sun. Been a long time since Hago. Oh Queen, oh my goodness. Indeed. Welcome to the Black Sea, welcome to Batumi. Wow, whoa. And you absolutely have to see this. So we're gonna be mostly doing a little time travel here to the 19th century. And all the more so, we're gonna be seeing those high-rise buildings from I just know, well, built over the past decade, maybe. Look at that. It's going to be quite bizarre in many ways. Yeah, welcome back, Quinn. Good to have you with us. So we are gonna be seeing a lot more of the sea, I promise. We still have, stories to share. And we'll be coming closer to the sea, but since I can't promise you just one more glimpse of sun in the next 40 something minutes, well, we're gonna have to just make the most of it by running around. Thank you, Quinn. It's good to have you back. Honestly, it's really good to have you back. I would say that the market of the virtual tours has changed tremendously. But you know what doesn't really change much? The way people behave on vacation, the photographs they take, sunbathing, the beach industry, and everything that deals with beach time, vacation. It's just nice to see how things started to change, how they changed over the, let's say, previous century. And I would like to show you some photographs. So this promenade, again, is now one of the, well, it's the biggest symbol of Batumi, without a doubt. Absolutely. I'm gonna need to just wait a second because we have this bike lane here. Long one, have a look. The golden glow, absolutely. Look at that. Please feel free to share the screenshots. Wow, this is just spectacular, oh my goodness. You know what, I think like I've already forgotten what I was going to say. Wow, this is the golden hour. I was hopeful, but I was trying to be realistic, so I didn't even, let's say, promise much of the sunset, but I was really keeping my fingers crossed for it. So it looks like it has worked. And now we are back to just another, so basically this is the central lane of the boulevard. So this is the boulevard. There is also another lane, and then the last one is actually by the sea. It's quite narrow, but pretty long. And imagine all that was marshes. Dangerous mosquitoes. Well, malaria mosquitoes. I'm going to need to switch. There we go. Anyone can take those little carts and enjoy themselves. Oh, I love these colors. Isn't it amazing? Wow. And this is the work of about a handful of people. Well, the ideas and the funding. We have spoken about some of them in the previous tours, and hopefully we'll introduce you to some of them also tonight, just as a little reminder. But remember, we passed by a Japanese garden, so we're going back. Who would have thought that here by the shores of the Black Sea in the Caucasus there will be this little piece of Zen. We're going to enter from the opposite side. The garden is very small, and it's from like 2000, 2010, something like that. So it's pretty new. It's small, but it has everything: a proper Japanese garden has to have. It even has sakuras. It has the flowing water. It has the stones. It has the gates. So these gates, the gates to the Japanese garden, they're kind of meant to be this transition from the world of mundane to the world of peace and quiet. It even has the fishes, or at least had. Well, I saw them yesterday, not at the moment though, but I saw them yesterday. Who knows? Again, the flowing water. The little bridge, but let's enter through the torii gates. Yes, it's such a good work of the landscape designers. And for those who are not familiar with Georgia, who haven't seen my previous stores such as Quinn, well, you may have noticed a lot of dogs. Those are actually stray dogs, but this is the country's policy. I wonder where all the fish is gone. Oh no, one is there. Hold on a sec. Can you see that this must be a carp fish? It's huge. Let's enjoy a little bit of the flowing water. I'll shut up for a sec. There we go. Here they are. I think they're having a party. I don't know why what all of them are doing right under the bridge. That I don't really know. But anyway, so sorry, I'm zooming out. So speaking of the dogs, you will see a lot of them here and actually everywhere we are. Don't be afraid, and it's not something unusual. This is the city's and the country's policy. Dogs are not really kept in shelters. There are some shelters, but they're not numerous, not enough to accommodate the dogs, all the dogs. Just imagine that. Obviously not. And normally the way it works is the dogs are neutered, vaccinated, chipped, and let go just in the streets of Georgia. Look at that over here. Excuse me. There you go. So whenever I see that, it's giving me this Zen vibe. Isn't it? It's tiny. Basically, this is it. But I think it's enough to kind of set your mood and mind to a different mode. I think those gates that we passed as we entered, they kind of did the job. I think so. Not sure, but I think so. I think so. So now we are basically back to the house over here, right? The Nakashidze house, where they said first, yes, of course, go ahead and you can stream. And then all of a sudden, oops, sorry, you cannot. Well, that's okay, because everything has been filmed and we've got to see a little bit of everything in the room. So I think it's good. And I want to show you a couple of photographs just to show you how things used to look in the 1900s. So imagine a small village growing really fast, a lot of people coming from all over, people settling down, people just coming and going, people needing hotels, people needing infrastructure for everything. So, and amidst all of that, things started to be built. I would like to show you just some photographs. Oh, and by the way, It's interesting because once the Russian army and the Georgian army took over the Jara region and Batumi, they obviously started building fortifications in sort of a small military town, kind of like a military base, maybe, just better say. So I would like to show you just some photographs, because that town would actually stay for quite a while. And in this photograph you can see there's no really boulevard, a lot of just makeshift buildings, not really looking nicely at all. This is just probably the first decade, maybe just the second decade of the city being developed. And also this photograph, a desolate stretch of the beach and some sort of elevation. Actually, right now, nothing of this kind exists. But in the 19th century, there still was a sort of fortification from the Middle Ages that protected this, well, the pier that protected the port, because this is a natural port. Why Batumi was so interesting and attractive for everyone? Because of the natural bay and pretty deep harbor. So obviously lands like this always needed protection. So the protections were from the Middle Ages, but the Ottomans managed to take over. A little break from the history to enjoy some more views. Look at that. I hope you can hear the water. It should be. So we're looking at a monument to a lady on a bike. I would say her balance skills are incredible. I would have drowned already. I don't know how she's doing that, but you can see that she's still spinning the wheels. Looking nice and elegant. And imagine, I showed you a small military town, makeshift buildings that look just huts, right? We saw some, well, half dilapidated infrastructure in the photographs, and then we see this monument. So within just a couple of decades, the city looks changed completely, and the boulevard as it was constructed, and it was essential because of the plants. There's a lot of these plants with their root system, cypresses, palm trees, a lot of subtropical species were brought here by just several social activists and, well, I would say backers of Batumi and philanthropists. They knew that only the roots, only the plants, just building long alleys of these plants would first of all help them get rid of mosquitoes, and also turn this land into something more livable than just marshes. And so they did. And so they did. I just want to show you a little bit more of the sea. Wow. We need to see this because the sun is looking absolutely stunning right now in between the clouds. I just can't get enough of it. So again, as I said, we're going to be running back and forth just to catch up with the views and to see how the lights are changing as well. There you go. Ah. Isn't it just? Wow. In the meantime, I'm going to show you more photographs. So the women, so imagine all this beautiful boulevard when it was built would be filled up with ladies and gentlemen, not only Russians, not only Georgians, from all over, because it was big port, international port. And these people were strolling along the promenade and riding bikes, which were very expensive. That was, a bike was a status symbol. And we're standing exactly at the spot, let's say we're parallel to the Nakashidze house where we were, right? Just as the tour started, so the two houses next to one another. So we're exactly here, and you see that we have kind of two lanes of the boulevard. There you go. This is the old postcard, and it continued all the way to the actual port. In one of my first streams from Batumi, we started very close to the port. So this time we are in the opposite end of it. But again, we need to go back because I still wanted to show you some more fun things about port. Oh, sorry, about the boulevard. So I have some more fun pictures, and maybe not so fun because, well, just see how small all the trees were. There's still maybe just a fraction of all the flora that we see here today. Sorry. And again, have a look at that. It's really incredible, the amount of work to transform. Absolutely, the amount of work, just the funds. That's a lot of work. And again, that's why it's just so startling to see these plants over here. So we need to go back to that lane. You will see people wearing swimsuits. I don't want to be filming them, but we're just by the beach. And it's been the first day with this much sun. Also, I want to show you, look, and the boulevard, ever since it was built, would become the favorite place of the locals, of the visitors, and this would be the so-called oasis. Because originally there were not so many trees and plants growing in Batumi. It's mountains, the pebbles and marshes originally. So we're seeing this lady again, the lady on the bike again. The bike was a status symbol. It was expensive. She's looking so elegant, and I have no idea how she's not sweating. And also the parasol. I don't know how she's doing that. I would like to go a little bit of that way. Obviously, there were opened cafes, and the beach actually had different sections. I want to show you more pics. Oh, I'm such a fan of these old photographs. They add so much to the vibe. Just give me a second. I'll get to that. For example, not far from here, approximately where we are, but just in the parallel alley, just by the sea, there was this men's bathing section and women bathing section. They would be just one with a significant gap between each other. And you know what people are looking at? People are looking at, the fleet, most probably of the nobles. And what we're looking at, the steamships that are transporting oil. I want you to see a little bit of that over there. I will zoom in, just not to film people. Well, back in the days, they didn't have this restaurant slash swimming pool, but now we do. So if you are not a big fan of Pebble Beach, or you're not a fan of salty water, you can enjoy a little bit of the swimming pool fun. A restaurant by the swimming pool. Look at that. Wow. Look at this. Look how the sky is reflected in the water surface. Oh. I told you there is still so much more that we haven't seen. Almost no ripples. Yeah, I don't want to be close here, so I'm leaving. I hope you could see that. That was gorgeous, absolutely. So they're closing. They're open during the day as a swimming pool and a restaurant, and then they open only for the night as a restaurant with no swimming, which I think is stupid. I think people will be willing to pay extra for just swimming at night in the swimming pool with their stomachs full. maybe that's why they don't want for this to happen. I want to show you a little bit more of the old photographs. There were always a lot of fountains, always these beautiful alleys. Made people do what? Exactly what we're doing today. Take photographs. People took photographs of the promenade and people walking. Look at how they're dressed. This is a colorized photograph postcard. Look at this lush greenery, but it's a lot greener now. This photograph was taken somewhere here. Look at this huge magnolia tree. Imagine how beautiful it looks when they're in full bloom in springtime. Okay, I'm looking for more photographs. Oh, like this one, the black and white. This is looking charming too. And people keep coming across postcards from Batumi, from Tbilisi, all over Europe. You can find them in the flea markets. Originally there were no street lights, but the first street lamps in Batumi would light in the early 1910s, according to one of the sources. The information differs a little bit, but it's without a doubt that the promenade was given the priority, obviously the port, all the facilities in connection with that, but obviously also the tourism infrastructure. Look at that. I think this is also one of my most favorite pictures. I'm just wondering what this gentleman is thinking of, where he's heading to. Huh? And maybe, just maybe, he was heading towards somewhere here. Also, there were a lot of small roof terraces, a little cafes, little wooden buildings, quaint ones. Also a place for people to just, hide in the shade. Oh, like this one, for example. That's quite close to the beach. So you see already here we have the street lights. So that's like early 1910s. I would say that my source is pretty much reliable. It's like a big website where you can find a lot of old photographs and also a lot of memoirs. I really like this colorized image and beautiful street lamps. And we have something here quite curious. It's been here for a long time. That's a little aviary. Well, not that little. We have an aviary here with real pelican and peacocks. Just worst moment because and now he's just sitting. Still lost me? I'm here. I just wonder if I'm seeing the messages from like 2 minutes ago and maybe I am lost. Hi there. Hi guys. Hello. Back now. Okay, that's great. So we are here by a pretty big aviary actually. We have a lot of different birds here. Swans, ducks, a pelican. They also promised some, what do you call them? Peacocks, but I don't see the peacocks. Maybe they are on it, maybe it's their day off and peacocks are just, I don't know, out and about. I don't know. But look at this guy over there. Just as I was about to approach this spot, the pelican just, well, started spreading his wings and we got disconnected, which is really, really sad. But I think it's really looking so cute. So I hope you're here with me and the connection is okay. Just let me know. And we're going to be approaching from a little different angle as well. And see some other birds here. Good now. Okay, that's good. Look at that. There is a swan over there. We can also approach from the other side, but I'd rather just, if he could just please spread his wings again. Could you just, you know, do a quick flip flap for us? You know, like just a little bit. That would be really fantastic. It would be really great of you, really kind of you to do that. I don't even know how he could just fall this way. This is so cute. No, come on. Don't you want to stretch your legs or paws or whatever you have there? Okay, whatever. Bye, bye. I think they just really have a nice little pond to themselves over there, and all these little homes for the birds. And from here, let's see what we've got in here. Just one duck, and I don't know, is it a turkey? I don't even know. Oh, more ducks. Just more ducks. Okay. Look at that. In the meantime, I want to show you some more pics. Give me a second. A lot of people would send postcards from the beach, with the views of Boulevard, like this one, for example. Just that, Batumi, the plage. No peacocks. I think they just have their day off. But I have a photo. Well, I didn't know
if we'd see any of the flamingos. Oh, sorry, flamingos, peacocks. What am I saying? So I just found a photograph from the internet. That's not mine. That's actually the peacock living here in this aviary. And just in case you start doubting my words, we got his portrait. So I think we're good, right? But we have more. We have parrots of all sorts, cockatoos. Just have to hear this, okay? Can you hear that? Blue, green, pink, white, different shades of green. I don't even know how many kinds of birds there are. And that's a very nicely looking pond from this side. They have a little bridge over there. It's looking so serene. Wow. Twit, twit, twit. Exactly. Twit, twit, twit. And speaking of fountains, there you go. A lot of fountains because, again, this little promenade was meant to serve as some sort of oasis for everyone. It's usually pretty hot during the summer. The climate here is subtropical with, I would say, almost nearly tropical temperatures, but when it's getting especially humid, that's what actually helps all the flora grow quickly, more quickly than the average latitude, I would say. And the shade and the green, that was a savior. And since the promenade was the place for everyone to show off, there would be a lot of beautiful sculptures and lovely details here and there. And in the Soviet period, that obviously continued. I'm not sure how old this sculpture is. Maybe not so old. Quite a concert. Exactly. Exactly. Quite a concert. I'm now passing by a cafe that's been here since the Soviet period. And you know, from time to time, I'm still just getting this Soviet kind of vibe. Well, it's a veterans club now. Whenever I come here, we see the senior citizens of Batumi playing chess. And also, I'm just going to be passing by a little bit. We see also kids playing chess over there. I like it. And I also want to show you a little bit more. Speaking of the Soviet times, I have already taken you to this particular area. And this is exactly the symbol of the Soviet period of Batumi. This is the example of Soviet brutalism / constructivism or Bauhaus.
Well, actually, it was built at the time when the Bauhaus came into its own. Well, in Russia we call it constructivism. That's not really that relevant. But this was during the Soviet period. It was a hotel. This was the hotel that specifically focused on international visitors. It was called Intourist. It's still called Intourist, and it's still a hotel. The fun fact is that before, at this very spot, used to stand a church, a huge Russian Orthodox church. I would like to just show you a few things. Give me a second. There you go. There you go. It's still written in tourist. It's still there. This is what the church looked like. And the church was one of the big symbols of the boulevard, of course, and the city itself. However, you can see what is standing here now. This is, I would say, very much a Soviet style. The architect who built this church was Alexei Shushev, who started off in the imperial times as a prolific architect that specialized in the neo-Russian slash Art Nouveau style, and also left for us a great legacy of beautiful Art Nouveau churches. It's kind of looking Russian, but not that Russian, right? Or also in the Soviet period, he kind of completely reinvented himself and started building in this, kind of constructivist style or Bauhaus style. This is one of his latest works, I would say, late works. And you know what he's famous for? He's forever famous for this, the mausoleum of Lenin. And you know what I find quite remarkable? That here in this boulevard, not really far from here, just give me a second. Used to be standing a monument. You see where, we're approaching the sea, and the colors are already very different. Here used to be standing monument to Stalin. Not far from here. Not really far from here, a little bit to the right from here, but I'm not going there because I want to take you to the colonnade. You see the colonnade? It's to the left. So the monument used to be a little bit to the right from here. So we've been enjoying the promenade, this lush greenery, but I also want to show you one more flower bed. This was something unimaginable. This was something that's, I would say, was almost unassumable. How a paradise like that could have been created so quickly. Again, just a couple of decades, obviously. It's taken some time to grow. And it keeps growing. It keeps growing. It's all nicely pruned and taken care of. See, this is just exactly the message. So this boulevard was not only a place to show off, but it was also a place of peace and quiet, and a little bit of shade, and a little bit of, a gulp of fresh air. Drinking water. And I think this is also the place where a lot of relationships would start, don't you think? It's looking so romantic. Wow. Just imagine how many first kisses must have happened here. Wow. If this doesn't have a name, this should have. This should become the kissing alley. Oops. I don't know if you've seen my friend the white horse, but before the white horse, I don't know where the prince is. I'm sure I'm not the only one wondering where the hell the prince is. And not for me, not for myself. I've already have mine, you know. I've had him for 12 years. But I'm sure a lot of girls are just wondering where the hell he is. Maybe they just kind of miss this gentleman sitting here and really inviting us to join him. He even has a little vase over here. And this is Mikhail de Alphonse. I have taken you here before, but how can a tour of the glorious and gorgeous promenade of Batumi go without Mikhail de Alphonse, since he was the man behind this park. He, a merchant born in Russia but to an aristocratic French family, after having earned all the money in the world, well, so he thought at least, he decided to go to Batumi to buy a plot of land where he would just grow old, enjoying the nature, the views, the breathtakings of the Black Sea from the mountains. He built himself a summer house, bought a huge garden, and then he realized that he loved those places so much and he wanted to turn them into something that everyone would just fall in love with. And he knew this area struggled. This area struggled to protect itself from malaria and mosquitoes. It wasn't easy to build here due to the soil and just that, you know, and the bananas. So he decided to invest his own funds, spend his own money to buy species of subtropical plants, and he started systematically, methodically, scientifically planting the trees in his own garden, which is now included in the territory of the Batumi Botanical Garden. He carried out dozens of experiments trying to find out which species would take, which would not, which would survive, which wouldn't. And with trial and error, he succeeded. And this promenade with beautiful colonnade from the 1930s, and also this beautiful summer theater from the also Soviet period, all of this wouldn't have happened and wouldn't be here without Mikhail de Alphonse, who spent the rest of his life making this corner of the world so beautiful. I want to show you just a couple more photographs. Give me a second to fetch them. By the way, this building is from the, let's say from after 2013. There was a big fire and unfortunately the original Soviet summer theater building burned. It was much smaller. This one looks a bit more bulky to me, but it's still, you know, a nice venue. They claim they have really good acoustics and also really big windows, which let the air in, the sea breeze in, and definitely makes everything feel a little more airy. So here we have even the year when this colonnade was built, 1934. Needless to say that this colonnade and Batumi in general was one of the most favorite resorts during the Soviet period. Not the only one, definitely not the only one, but one of the most popular. And in the imperial period, it was also the place where the richest would always try to go to every year, because this is where the oil money was. Because this is where all the goods could have been purchased duty-free. And we are in for a treat because we're gonna see something that no money could buy. But what people, regardless of which period they lived in, regardless of how much money they had and what their status was, would come and enjoy the sunset. I need to cross here again, and I want to come closer to that side over there. So it's good that we saw a little bit of the sun at the beginning, and now we get to see the pink, purple, and I don't know, 20,000 shades of pink now in the sky. This is just breathtaking. I'm gonna come closer to the water. I'm leaving Batumi in 2 days. Sadly, my father is leaving tomorrow night. Well, we're taking him to the airport tomorrow night, and his flight is after midnight. And I still have some more photographs to show you. And I want to come as close as possible to the water because we all want to hear the water. Oof. And yes, it is telling me it's live, but I can't rely on that. I'm only gonna believe it when I know from your comment that I'm back. So just let me know if I'm live. Am I back? Hopefully I am. Just let me know. I have to come up, well, I have some more photos to share, so I absolutely need to be live, but I need to know that I'm here. I want to show you some old, okay, that's fantastic. I want to show you some old postcards. People taking them again. You get to see the street lights, right? There you go. You get to see some beautiful wooden Art Nouveau looking restaurant just by the sea, right? And well, this one you have already seen. I want to show you a little bit more. Give me a sec. I like this one. Someone took a photograph of the sea and colorized it. Can you see that? Is it buffering again? Or I'm here? I'm gonna hang out here for a sec, making sure that you're here and I am. Just let me know on the chat. You can see. Okay, that's great. So once again, well, I know that we have a little bit of a gap, like, I don't know, lagging for maybe 1 minute or some 40 something seconds. I'll just show it once again. Look at this colorized, originally black and white photograph of the sea. People were taking photographs of the sea at all times. Or this one. This is the photograph from, I believe, 1900 or so. And the storm we saw about a few days ago was pretty much the same.
So regardless of which time period we're talking about, the travelers, the beach dwellers, took pictures of just the same things. Let's enjoy. There's no people, just us. I'm not on the frame. There are people on the beach, but it's just us and the sunset. Sorry, I'm lost for words just for a sec, but I'm back. So I would like to just hide in the people. You don't want to see them. So imagine that it's just us on the beach. I would like to thank you, everyone, for your patience because the connectivity is never really stable. What can I say? I'm just, at the mercy of, I don't know what, the stars or whatever, or just, the Cellcom company maybe, right? Thank you so much for your interest in my tours, be it Georgia, be it Israel, be it St. Petersburg or elsewhere. I'm just giving a little announcement here, just some tidbits, just, some teasers, I would say, and I'll fill you in more when the time comes. But in early September, I'm going to be traveling outside of Georgia with my boys, and I will be doing some very special tours, one Jewish heritage tour and one just, general history tour of a location. I'm not gonna tell you where I'm going now, but you haven't been there, and I'm not sure if we actually had ever, a virtual guide there. Maybe we did, like back in Hago times, but I'm not sure. I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't know. And then also this weekend, me, my mom, and Grisha are gonna be taking you on this very interesting virtual experience. Pottery. We're going to be doing pottery together with my mom. Mom has always wanted to try how to work with pottery on the potter's wheel. We're going to be doing it live. We're going to be messing around like on a live stream mode at a local studio in the heart of Tbilisi, like historic area. Just that. And also, you probably know that in Tbilisi, the main avenue, Rustaveli Avenue, I mentioned it maybe just once on one of my tours not long ago, is now undergoing a massive restoration, reconstruction. They're fixing the sewage system, the pipes and everything, and they keep unearthing the artifacts from the past. And just recently they discovered a cellars of a 19th century house, and all of a sudden, and immediately, not all of a sudden, immediately, all those legends came about of a hidden underground city, of an ancient civilization that lived on the territory of Tbilisi many centuries ago. I'm going to show you everything. I'm going to tell you the story, facts only. That's going to be on Sunday, pottery on Saturday. Also, I'm taking you to Jerusalem on Sunday, and I'm taking you to Alexander Palace on Saturday. And Misha's gonna be giving a talk on the Soviet literature, and my mom is gonna be also commenting because she has a lot to say, because it happened to be the time when she was also growing up. And I wasn't born at that point yet. I was just born at the very end of that so-called stagnation period, but we'll talk about that. So I definitely have to make the most of it while my parents are here. Well, my dad is leaving tomorrow, but my mom is still here for another week. So, but we're leaving Batumi soon. If you enjoy the tour and if you feel like supporting me, it would mean a lot. Your tips, you can either send a PayPal donation or you could buy me a coffee. The links are always there on the top of the chat, with the pinned comment. And I am absolutely in love with this promenade and all the stories. And again, I've only managed to show you maybe, I don't know,
60% of the photographs that I've sourced for today. And as I said, I did manage to show you just a little bit of that cafe. I filmed everything last night, and I'm going to be putting everything together because I have been to several locations that I can't show you on a live stream mode, but I've recorded everything, 19th century mansions, aristocrats property. We're going to see it very soon. I'm gonna schedule the tour and we're gonna be, having fun. Just that. Thank you so much, everyone. Wishing safe travels to my dad. I'm right now going to get everything together, pack things up, all my equipment, and rush to my family. In the meantime, this is where we started, over there. You see the Marriott. Hilton is a little bit over there. That's where the prison was, where Joseph Stalin was held in captivity, right? And that's the sea. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for your support. And also thank you in advance for all the screenshots that you would want to share, if any. Speed racing on the water. Bye-bye, everyone. Half a heart. Thank you for everything.